Hi, everyone, and welcome to episode 5 of Integrative Approaches to Mastering Wellness. My name is Santhi Tanikela, and I'm a physician and a life coach. So, in the last video, I spoke a little bit about beliefs and belief systems. We talked about how some beliefs might be holding us back, and how some beliefs or thoughts that we have might actually be pulling us forward. So, today, I'd really like to jump into the next layer of that. Simply believing that you can do something or be something is obviously not enough. You actually have to create a plan to be able to achieve that goal. Sometimes it's super easy to meet the goal. Sometimes it's hard and we feel like failures every step of the way. Sometimes we have to dig deep and find that personal motivation to keep us going. Sometimes we accomplish the goal and we feel like we've won. And sometimes we accomplish the goal and we still feel like failures. That's going to be a topic for another day because I think that's really important to address. So I want you to bring up the mental image of a toddler. Tell me, how many times do they fall on that cute diapered butt and get up again and start walking? Like, how long does it take for them to learn to finally walk well? How long does it take to learn to run? How long does it take to become a really good athlete? How long does it take to become, an Olympic athlete? It does not happen overnight, that's for sure. So, it just brings home the point that sometimes meeting a goal can take time, it can take patience, and it requires courage. And I want to just imbue on you that when we're trying to meet a goal and an obstacle comes up, all of our demons are going to come up. Self-criticism, maybe even some self-hatred, jealousy of others, anger, irritation, feelings of inadequacy. These feelings are all going to come up, and our brain is going to offer tons and tons of thoughts that aren't very productive. And I'm going to call that negative self-talk, right? And that's all that it is. It's just talk. It's not necessarily based in reality. And I'd like to point out something. While it feels terrible, our mind is doing something incredible here. It is protecting us. We have what's called a primitive brain and a prefrontal cortex. The primitive brain is responsible for keeping us safe and ensuring our survival. And while we may not always be in dangerous situations, this is part of the reason why we tend to look at the negative attributes of something before we look at the positives. Our prefrontal cortex, on the other hand, can override some of the negative thoughts that our primitive brain might be offering us. So there's a checks and balances system here, and we can actually train ourselves to take advantage of both when the time is appropriate. So circling back to the primitive brain, what is our brain actually protecting us from if it's not true danger? It's probably protecting you from yourself. It's protecting you from feeling negative emotions, whether it's a fear of failure or a concern that your family and friends might not accept you when this new layer of you gets developed. Maybe it's a concern about coming out of your comfort zone because, of course, who doesn't want to live in comfort all day, every day? So, it's understanding that perhaps it may take a while to get that gratification. Like, we're all seeking immediate gratification, but it can take a while to meet that goal and to get the benefit of that gratification, whether it's a weight loss goal or moving through graduate school and landing that first job or learning how to be a good parent. So, all this to say, when you are coming up against an obstacle, I want you to remember baby steps. Be compassionate with yourself. Instead of judging yourself and creating mind drama around the obstacle, I want you to try to enter a space of curiosity. There will be some things that you have zero control over, that's for sure. There will be some things that you do have control over, and one of them is your brain, right? It's your mindset. That can be one of your greatest assets during this time. What are some creative ways that you can navigate around the obstacle? Once you start asking yourself these more open-ended questions instead of immediately shutting yourself down, please believe me, those answers are going to start coming up for you. And some of them are going to be great answers. And then you can take advantage of that, right? I also want you to remember to have your own back. This is the best way to consistently break through your glass ceilings. And if you have trouble with this, like I used to, try to imagine maybe your best friend or your child going through a similar situation. How would you comfort them? What are some pieces of advice that you might give them to help them navigate the situation? So cool, right? If you're interested in learning more and are ready to elevate yourself in a different way, please don't hesitate. Visit me at iamwellmd.com. Our doors are open for coaching. Until next time, be well.